we headed up to Dutch Harbor in the Aleutian, patrolling up there. That's when we got in that big battle. Komandorski's.
Guided by intelligence intercepts, American forces under Rear Admiral Charles Sockman Morris were ordered to the waters south of the Komandorski Islands to halt a Japanese relief convoy bound for the Aleutians.
We had left Dutch Harbor in company with the Salt Lake City, which is a heavy cruiser, the Richmond, which is a light cruiser, and 3 other destroyers. And on the morning of March 26, 1943, one of the ships saw some masts on the horizon.
They thought there were supply ships going to Atu and Kiska.
But it wasn't but a few minutes after that that we saw other ships, which turned out to be an extensive Japanese force.
We had about twice that many ships, heavy cruiser and light cruiser and destroyers.
Rather than facing a lightly escorted convoy, McMorris instead found his targets guarded by 4 cruisers and 4 destroyers under the command of Japanese Vice Admiral Boshiro Hosogaya.
The next thing I knew, we were in battle. It wasn't just a routine sunrise, general quarters. It was the real thing. My battle station was down in the aft magazine handling room.
And I was on a number 19 20mm gun just forward of the 20mm ready room. And I figured we're on the ship, the skipper knows what he's doing, and I'll stay with him.
Deciding to engage the enemy without waiting for possible air support, McMorris ordered his cruisers to open fire. Identifying the larger Salt Lake City as the most pressing threat, Japanese gunners returned fire and gave chase in a running engagement.
But we wondered what's happening up there. They were bringing shells from the forward turret down to the aft turret. They couldn't fire the forward ones, but they could. We were going out. We'd set them on fire, and then they'd hit us and hit 8 times, I think.
Over the course of 4 hours, the Japanese slowly gained on McMorris's ships, even closing within range of the American destroyers. Then, with her magazines nearly depleted, the Salt Lake City was hit astern. Water flooded into her engine room, and the heavy cruiser drifted to a halt.
The skipper of the Salt Lake City hoisted a signal which said, "My speed 0."
We were dead in the water, and the USS Bailey made a smoke screen around us while we got up steam again.
She had the big guns for us, and without her, we would have been taken out, I'm sure. The situation looked pretty hopeless, and the Commodore of the destroyer screen ordered 3 of us to make a daylight torpedo attack. And all of a sudden there was a huge explosion close aboard, and about that time we lost power. It's a pretty terrible feeling to know and realize that you're in a watertight compartment and it's dark and the water's coming in. We did a little praying, I want to tell you. To our great relief, the battle basically ended right then.
Miraculously, Hosogaya misinterpreted some of the final volleys fired at his ships as bombs from American aircraft. Turning away from the American torpedo attack launched by the destroyers, he left the field moments away from victory. Instead of sinking beneath the waves, McMorris and his sailors found themselves in control of the seas.
When we got through that battle, we had 2 bags of powder left.
I remember coming up on deck and seeing men who I had known and known well, who had been killed, and the loss of the forward fire room and the forward engine room had been, they were totally flooded to the waterline. Any other small compartment flooded would have probably sunk us for sure.
When I got back to my quarters, my mattress was missing. All I had was a blanket that I had down in the handling room. I think they used my mattress to plug a hole.
We didn't know how long it was going to be before the Japs turned around and realized they'd made a mistake by not pressing the attack. because had they done so, that's almost a certainty that they would have obliterated all of us.
In the end, the Americans lost 7 sailors and 20 were wounded, and Japanese forces suffered 14 killed and 26 wounded. The Salt Lake City would need extensive repairs alongside 2 of her escorting destroyers, but the men had succeeded beyond what the Navy could have hoped for. With the seas now secured, the stage was finally set to take back the lost islands of the Aleutians.